Okay, I am going to give you a quick explanation of what Amendment 1 on Florida's November 2016 ballot is all about. So we are logged into helpsolarpower.org, and we're just going to scroll down a little bit here, and let's go into, let's see, 101, Amendment 1, 2016 for Dummies. Let's click on this, and here we go. I'm just going to read this out from here. It says, if you are confused by Amendment 1 on the Florida ballot for 2016, the utility company's goal was accomplished. All right, so let me tell you a little bit about this amendment. This amendment sounds pro-solar, but let me assure you that it is not. It is not pro-solar. It is pro-utilities and against solar. So if you look through here, it'll give you an idea of who actually paid for Amendment 1 to be on the ballot. And if you look over here, this is all available to you. You can get it on Ballotpedia, or you can actually go to the site, the government site, and it has a listing of all the funding, basically, and where it came from. Here it is, Florida Department of State, Division of Elections. So Consumers for Smart Solar are the ones that actually finance this campaign. And if you look at the donors, the first one is Florida Power and Light, that's FP&L. They gave over $4 million. Duke Energy gave almost $4 million. Tampa Electric gave $2,353,000 about. Gulf Power gave another 1.6, almost 1.7 million. And then you have 60 Plus Association Inc., which is actually the Koch brothers. That is funded by the Koch brothers. It has nothing to do with 60 Plus. They gave 1.4 million. So Consumers for Smart Solar is actually utilities against solar. So don't be fooled. It's not pro-solar. It's a $16 million sham, utility sham. If you look down, it'll give you an idea of what the actual amendment looks like. And it says, here is what you will see on the ballot. So when you read this, it says, this amendment establishes a right under Florida's Constitution for consumers to own or lease solar equipment installed on their property to generate electricity for their own use. State and local governments shall retain their abilities to protect consumer rights and public health, safety, and welfare. So this is the bait. Basically, they're saying this to make it sound pro-solar. This amendment establishes the right under Florida's Constitution for consumers to own or lease solar equipment installed on their property to generate electricity for their own use. So basically, we already have that right here in Florida. Actually, every state has that right. You have the right to buy any solar panel you want. It's not something that is banned by any state. So everybody can buy solar panels and everybody can produce electricity for themselves. It keeps going, and it says state and local governments shall retain their abilities to protect consumer rights and public health, safety, and welfare. So as stated there, they already have the right. You know, local governments already have the ability to protect customers' rights and public health and safety welfare. So that's all bait. That is designed to fool people into believing that this is a pro-solar amendment, when in fact it is not. So somebody that looks at the ballot and just quickly skims through this amendment, they're going to assume that it's pro-solar, when in actuality it is not. So we have the bait, and here's the switch. And to ensure that consumers who do not choose to install solar are not required to subsidize the cost of backup power and electric grid access to those who do. Well, this is basically a sham. There is nothing saying that people who don't have solar are actually paying for the people that do. Basically, this was put on here to get rid of net metering, which is your ability to produce power. So during the day you produce power, you sell that power to the electric company, and then you buy it back at night. But the power companies bought you for that. So this is what enables you to actually reduce your bill. So here's a little diagram that kind of shows you what's going on. You see? So you produce during the day, you consume at night. The power company buys it from you during the day, and then you buy it back from them at night. In most states, people who have solar panels actually produce more than they consume, and therefore they wind up getting a check in the mail rather than having to pay a bill. Because remember, the power that you're not using goes back to the electric company, back to the grid, and they sell it to other people. So this is what they're trying to get rid of. So basically, Amendment 1 will change the Florida Constitution to include a presumption that non-solar consumers somehow subsidize solar customers, which is not supported by any empirical evidence. This presumption will give power companies the constitutional protection to punish you with charges if you install solar under the deceptive guise of protecting consumer rights. So their goal here, the reason why they spent $16 million to put this Sham-Solar amendment is because they want to prevent people from selling their power back to the electric company. This is actually what makes having solar panels on your roof cost effective. If you get rid of net metering, then people are going to have to pay $10, $20, $30, $40,000 from an array that is not really going to make them any money back. So basically, they will just break even or even wind up having to pay the utility companies some amount of money to stay on the grid. So basically, the power companies are going to charge you for staying on the grid. Other people argue that the people who don't have solar are going to be punished. Well, the truth of the matter is that other states that have employed this, like Georgia, actually saw utility bills stay the same or actually get cheaper. A big portion of your electric bill goes to creating and building new power plants. If more people install solar on their roof, then there is no need to build new power plants. Therefore, the utility companies should, in theory, give you that money back. So everybody should have to pay 20, 30, 40% less on their electric bill. Because right now you're paying to build future power plants that there is no need for. So if you want to help solar power in Florida, you need to vote no on Amendment 1. Amendment 1 is not pro-solar. Amendment 1 is a utility-backed sham. It is a sham designed to fool people into thinking that it's pro-solar when in fact it's not. It's only going to hurt solar power in Florida. So this November, vote no on Amendment 1. This November 2016, make sure you vote no on Amendment 1. Don't be fooled. And you can check more information out at helpsolarpower.org. That's helpsolarpower.org.